Hello, everybody. We're talking about tapping today. Give a couple minutes. Wait for Kristen to come on. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Hi, everybody. Talking about tapping today. If you don't know what that is, we have an expert here. She's going to be telling us all about it. It's a beautiful day here in New York. Not that cold. Well, cold, but not that cold. There she is. We will have her come on. Let's see. Okay. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you just great. I am obsessed with your hair. I love your hair every time I see it.
Oh, thank you. I just noticed I have some leftover decorations in the back for my son's birthday.
So I'm covering it with my head. So I hear you. I also have a happy birthday sign from August still up. So that's how we're rolling here. So excited to have you on today. We're just gonna get into it. So for those of you that don't know, this is Kristin Curtis. She is a fresh Starts Registry expert. She's on the resource guide. She is so many things. I'm going to let her describe herself. I met Kristen in one of our amazing groups, and I watched her essentially start a business, and it blossomed, and she's now changing the world one tap at a time. And so a little background. So I knew a little bit about tapping. My therapist actually did a tapping, I guess, course. And so she has, kind of started the practice with me a little bit in therapy. And I'm going to be honest, I thought she was a little crazy at first, talking about it, but it's interesting. It's been an interesting, I've probably been tapping with her for maybe 6 months, and she'll integrate it into therapy sessions. And I can see now, let me put it this way. I can see why people would love it, and I can see why people would be nervous about it because it brings up a lot. So let's talk about you first. Who are you? How did you get into tapping? And then we'll get into what the tapping is, but who are you and how did you get into tapping? And at the end, we'll kind of talk a little bit about how you work with people as well. But this is more about who is Kristen and how did she find tapping?
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for having me on. I'm so excited. And so, yes, my name is Kristen Curtis, and I am a certified EFT and core clearing, which is a subconscious reprogramming modality practitioner. And I also, sort of like you, Olivia, got introduced to tapping in my talk therapy session. My therapist is trained in EFT, and she was like, do you want to try this out? And I said yes. And the very first exposure I had to tapping was to heal my birth story. I had a traumatic birth story with my first son, and that had sort of really carried throughout my life. I had still suffered the effects of that trauma. And we did tapping. We did a technique called the movie technique, where I actually went back and relived that time, and using tapping, that birth story is so healed. It is completely healed. And I said, what is this magic? I need to know. And then I started connecting with other women who were into tapping, and I found my incredible mentor, Sasha Bryce, who I did her 6-month certification program. And now I'm just taking off, sharing all of this with the world, and really expanding my outreach, how I can help so many people with tapping.
I love that. And I definitely want you at some point to discuss a little bit about the idea that how physical trauma is, right? And how we have to let that out of our system. But for those of people listening, they may not have ever heard what we're talking about. Like, what is this tapping thing? So can you just give us like, what is what the 101? Like if somebody was like, hey, Kristen, what's tapping? Explain it to a toddler. Like what would you say?
Yes. So as a lot of us know, we are made of energy. So what tapping does is if you think of your energy flowing through your body, almost like traffic lanes on a highway. So the energy is flowing and then something happens and there's a block of that energy and it creates traffic jams. And that can come as physical pain. It can come as anxiety. It can come as depression, insomnia, all of these things that we sort of know, culturally. And what tapping does is when we tap on the certain meridian points that are attached to these energy flows, it breaks up that traffic jam and it allows that energy to flow in our body. And that is how we are healthy. When our energy is flowing in a natural state, and clearly that is health. When we are in dis-ease, so dis-ease of that flow, that is when different things can come up both mentally and physically. So when someone also says like, okay, so how does this work? This is evidence-based work. This is research-based. It is getting a bigger following as of late also because it's free. It's at your fingertips to help you physically change the makeup of how you think in your brain and how your energy flows.
So, back a few years ago, everybody was doing acupuncture and cupping and all these things. Is that kind of in the same vein of letting the energy flow, but it's free because it's at your fingertips?
Yeah. So tapping is sort of a combo of acupressure and acupuncture. So we are using our fingertips to literally put pressure and to change how our body is reacting to whatever is going on. So the meridian points are attached to all different like our kidneys, for example, our stomach, all of those things, the meridian points are attached to, so they can actually change the physical makeup of that. So yes, it's kind of a combination of both acupressure and acupuncture.
I love that. So can you just give us like a quick example of what it would look like to do like not to put you on the spot, but like a quick tapping, like, if somebody says, okay, I get that, you're tapping, what are you tapping? Where are you tapping? What do you do when you're tapping? How does that work? Like really quickly.
Yeah, of course. So a really amazing thing that tapping also does is regulates our nervous system. So we don't even have to say words in order for our nervous system to become out of the fight, flight, freeze, all those keywords of stress response and back into alignment of calmness. So we can just go through, right? So if we take a minute, we put our hands on our body and we notice what's present for us. So right now, because I'm on a live, I'm feeling a little bit nervous in my belly, right? So I notice, okay, I have kind of like a pit in my stomach. We would start at our karate chop point and just start tapping.
Here.
And and if you want to repeat after me, just for the sake of showing, that would be awesome. So we could say, even though I have this pit in my belly.
I have this pit in my belly.
It's bothering me.
It's bothering me.
And I'm a little bit nervous. I deeply and completely love and accept myself. With this pit. Perfect. So that's our setup statement. And we would repeat that 3 times. Okay. And then we would do our reminder points. So the first one starts at the very edge of the eyebrow.
Okay.
So the hair right here. So we would tap here. And now we're reminding our body what we're bringing in, what we're focusing on to transform. Okay. So I would say this pit in my belly.
This pit in my belly.
Coming to the side of our eye, right on that bone crease.
Okay.
I can feel this pit.
I can feel this pit.
And under the eye, this nervousness in my belly.
This nervousness in my belly.
Under our nose. I'm on a live right now.
I'm on a live right now.
Chin, I'm feeling a little nervous.
I'm feeling a little nervous.
And our collarbone points. I feel this pit in my belly.
I feel this pit in my belly.
And under our arm, so people either take the fist and do right along the bra line.
Okay.
Sorry, it's hard to see. And tap under the arm. Okay. Or you can also raise one hand and reach across your body and tap.
Okay.
I feel this pit in my belly.
I feel this pit in my belly.
And then the top of the head point. Feeling nervousness in my belly.
Feeling nervousness in my belly.
And then we would come back to our heart space. And we would see if that pit has improved or not.
Okay.
And if you notice an improvement, don't stop tapping. Start again. You can never tap too much. So constantly regulating that nervous system and then going through again, noticing, okay, has it changed? Maybe it is moved. A lot of times what we're holding on to, that energy will move. Okay, so now my heart is kind of fluttering. Right. Great. Even though my heart is fluttering, you just follow it around until it transforms and dissipates.
So so talk to us about how you work with clients and how this, like, do you develop these phrases with them and you go through this with them? How does that work?
Yes. So to your point too, Olivia, about bringing up a lot of trauma, right? Yep. So this is really scary for people. People are like, well, I don't want to talk about trauma. Yep. And it creates a stress response in our body, right? Somebody says, oh, tell me about, something that's really bothering you or whatever. People are automatically like, no, because our ego is trying to keep us safe. Yeah. It's like, we're not going to talk about these things. Yeah. But when we create a safe space between you and I, between me and whoever I'm working with, we're in a safe, grounded space. We do grounding techniques before we begin. And the entire time that we are uncovering this trauma, we are tapping. So we are regulating the entire time. So our system knows we're safe. Okay. This is okay. Yeah. We are in a safe space. And these things go slow. This isn't like, okay, I've booked a session. I'm going to heal all my trauma. Right. These things take time. That is why I offer packages that are 12 weeks, that are 6 months to transform anxiety right now. So this is an investment in your transformation. Right? Yep. So there's integration periods, there's embodiment work. It's very important when you're tapping to make sure you're grounded in your body, meaning that we don't let the mind go wild. We come back to our nervous system. Working with folks, I work with business owners, I work with children. This is an amazing tool for parents. So I work with parents and kids. I do tapping on babies even to regulate their nervous system. You can use tapping for anxiety, panic, depression, fears around trauma. You can even use it for manifestation of wealth, burnout, weight loss, cravings. We are literally changing the makeup of our brain, creating new neural pathways with this work. So it is so unlimited. For me personally, I love working with parents because that is something near and dear to me. I am a mom. And I also love working with women who are really looking to transform their anxiety. That is what plagued me for so many years. And now that I have transformed it, I know when I'm out of alignment and I know how to get back through tapping.
I can see that. I mean, you have come so far just from what I mean, it's been like 2 years since I met you, and it's been huge. So if somebody is, let's say, going through a divorce or having a fresh start, maybe contemplating a job change, or a big move, what, I obviously we use this to move the negative energy, but we could also use this in a positive way too, right? Like, how does that work? If I'm like, okay, I'm thinking of selling my house and I'm nervous about it, and it's a good nervousness, how does tapping play into the positive also?
Yeah. So when we talk about positive things like that, so for example, let's take, getting a divorce, selling a house, those are huge life changes, right? So those are really big things to move through. So what we would want to do is explore, what are the fears around that? What is holding us back? Because our fears are not us. Our fears are just conditions, right? They're things we've learned from experience. So we would want to look at that, and we would want to clear the fears first. So what is going on with you about, how do you feel about your divorce? How are you feeling about buying this new house? And when we get to the point where the fears are cleared, then we can really use tapping to manifest and bring in really good energy to us, right?
Yeah.
So, I'm really excited about selling my house. Oh, I see that house. I really, really love it. I think it should be mine. Using that manifesting language.
Right, because we need to have our energy cleared in order to have the positive energy come into our system.
That is exactly right. We can't suppress the negative. That's what we're doing with tapping. The more we suppress, it will just explode one day in whatever way that looks.
Right.
What we're doing with tapping is we're bringing an awareness to what is present.
And I found with tapping, and you might find this with your clients, often it's just the saying the thing that's the scariest thing of all, right? So the more that you say it, like I know in therapy, I'll say like, I'm afraid of, change, blah, blah, blah. The more you say it, the less scary that monster becomes, right? Because you're like going head on. Do you find that with your clients?
Absolutely. And when you're able to say it in a safe space, right, it's like, oh, this no longer just lives in my mind. Right. I'm saying this out loud to someone. And I get the wording too. I wanted to mention here too, because I do work with a client. She does not want to say, I love and accept myself. Just that statement is too big. There's something around it, right? We don't have to say that. There are so many other phrases that we can use. But what we're doing with the tapping is bringing in the negative and accepting that we have it and transforming it.
It's huge transformation. I know you do the core clearing too. I want to do another live about that, because that's like a whole other topic, and I feel like that's like a fresh start, as we've said, for the subconscious. So is there anything else about tapping that you think people would blow their mind to know?
That would blow their mind. Oh my word.
Or that you found in your research that really like made you.
Yeah, I definitely think a big thing to know, and this is also research based, is that tapping is easy, it is effective, and it is long lasting. There have been studies with people who have used tapping to quit smoking, and they never want to smoke again, like after years and years of checkbacks. So it's kind of like when it's gone, it's gone. When you've transformed it, it's gone.
Right,
and
that's what the energy's gone. The energy's out. You got the energy.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. And allowing your body to transform at a cellular level. Like you are transforming your cells of your body. Because we know that 80% of the information that we receive is on a somatic cellular level. So we need to do something with that.
That's
And I mean, yeah, just in a personal story, I worked with my mom. She had knee problems for many, many years. And we tapped together over a series of weeks. The knee problems are gone.
wow.
They're gone. So, you know, it almost sounds magical, but like it truly is a magical tool. And it can be used in so many different ways. And if you're not into wanting to uncover your traumas right now, that's totally fine. We can always work together as like using tapping for functionality of life and wherever you're at.
I love that. So how can people get in touch with you? Excuse me. What do you offer for clients? And how do you work with people?
Yeah. So right now I work with clients all one-on-one. I also do kids and parents tapping workshops. One isn't live right now, but another one will be coming up shortly. And the best way is to go follow me on Instagram and use my booking link. That is where information is going to be on my Instagram. I'm always posting videos about tapping. There's a lot of content there, and my DMs are always open. So if you're kind of like, I don't know if this is for me, we can talk about it and see if we're the right fit. But that's the best way, that's all the info is on the booking link.
And I will say too, obviously Kristen is on Starts Registry's website. If you go to her profile there's testimonials as well and some more information. And also Kristen's done a bunch of blog posts for us. This will be up in a blog post so we can share this with people too. Kristen, thank you so much for coming. We're going to have you back to talk about the core clearing because that's a whole other topic. But I really appreciate you being here, and I love what you're doing. And I can see how deeply passionate you are about this, which is the most important thing. So thank you. Please go follow Kristen. If you have any questions, send her a DM. And we're going to make tapping revolution here. So
yes.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Kristen. We will share this.
Thank you.
Have a great day, everybody.
Okay, bye.
Thanks, Kristen.